Before we begin with our first reading in this evening's ceremony, I'd like to invite Dani Fine, the Vice President of Can-Israel Experience, the organization that oversees the March to Living and Birthright, to say a few words and to set the tone for this evening's ceremony. Dani.
So just briefly, I'd like to just invite all of us just to take a pause for a moment. This is a transition ceremony. Just take a look around. It's already a little bit of darkness has set in. You still see the sun a little bit in the horizon. You feel the cool breeze blowing. You listen here, there are birds chirping. You can definitely smell the fragrant air from the flowers. Where we are right now is a tremendous gift. Not just in mini Israel, but in Israel. And unfortunately, it's a gift that we're still paying for. As I said, this is a transition ceremony. So for us, we're transitioning through many things. We're marking the transition from Poland to Israel. And everyone in Israel and around the Jewish world is also marking the transition from Yom HaZikaron to Yom HaAtzmaut. And that is a poignant transition. When we were in Poland, we heard stories, sad stories, happy stories, stories of cruelty, stories of courage and sacrifice. Those stories did not end in Poland. They continued here to Israel. And I'm sure as you heard throughout all the stories, you've also heard the power of stories. The Jewish people are made up of stories. Each and every one of us is a story. And the Jewish people is an amalgamation of all those stories. And how much even more so, the Jewish country. Because that country comprises all of those stories. Those stories that have been told there in Poland and here in Israel. And stories not yet told. Stories to be told by you. There's one connecting story which I just quickly want to say about. That story is this. Many years ago in Arad, it was Erev Yom HaZikaron. And we took our participants to the Yom HaZikaron ceremony in the city square. And in the middle, the Kel Malei Rachamim prayer was said. Kel Malei Rachamim prayer is used to mark, to remember those who've been killed. And a student came up to me and said, Dani, I don't understand why they're saying this prayer. So I explained to him what Kel Malei is. He said, no, I get it. I understand the liturgy. I understand why we are saying it. But I don't understand why it's being said in Israel. He said, we said it in Poland. It should have stayed in Poland. Why did the killing of Jews have to continue from Europe to Israel? That's poignant. That's a nexus. That's a connecting point. That's understanding the story and understanding your place in that chain of stories. So tonight is a transition. We are transitioning again from Yom HaZikaron to Yom HaAtzmaut. We're transitioning, we're marking still the pain and anguish of that touch we had of the Shoah in Poland. And we are here now in pain and anguish, marking the deaths of so many of our family members here in Israel who died establishing and defending this precious gift, this gift of Israel. So it's a transition in many ways. It's also a transition for you, my dear marchers. It's a transition to not just let this be history, but your story. To understand that you are part of a continuum of many stories, and the Jewish story, the story of Israel, is that much richer for your stories. Take the lessons, take the stories, make them your own, and enrich your own story. And hopefully, one day, when you are here with other marchers, no one will ever again have to ask, why Kel Malei Rachamim? The prayer marking the deaths of Jews has to continue to be said here in Israel. Chag Ha'atzmaut Sameach.